I mean, we can talk about companies that have great cultures, right? Like when you were at HomeAway in those like early years, like pre-IPO, what did you learn about yourself and how you like to work? Because it sounds like you kind of found this really great sweet spot of like where you could grow and thrive. And then for all great practical reasons, you left that job to move closer to family, right? And do the thing that you're supposed to do.
I thought a lot about this. So I guess the good news is that we moved back a year later, and I actually managed to get my job back, and my wife managed to get her job back. So
Amazing.
yeah, I mean, like it,
Yeah.
it turned out very, very good. We learned a heavy lesson. Everything turned out well, but I really did start to kind of reflect on what it was that made HomeAway a special place to me. And I don't use that word lightly. It was a very special place for me, and I think for a lot of other people. When we talk about culture, I feel like that word is used in the same kind of vein of words as like unicorns or magic or whatever. Like these, it's a very like this abstract, funny thing. And I don't ever feel like I ever thought about what it means to have a good culture until I started reflecting on some of those things that I was experiencing at work. Then it became really clear when I read this book called The Culture Code by this guy named Daniel Coyle. And so I guess he digs into exploring what makes teams and organizations successful, specific actions and strategies that leaders and members of these groups employ to foster these strong cultures. He tries to quantify that kind of abstract idea. So he studied this over 4 years and essentially learned that these various successful organizations, Zappos, Pixar, the Spurs, San Antonio Spurs, the
Mm.
Navy SEALs, they all approach their work and how they are with each other in these three consistent ways. And those three ways were like, that's exactly why I loved HomeAway so much. So those three ways are building safety, sharing vulnerability, and establishing purpose. So at HomeAway, I always felt like I was around people who made me feel good about what I was bringing to the table. Like they were open to ideas, and they were open to the idea of me, not having the answers and making mistakes. I always just kind of felt okay about not being the expert, if you will. The
Mm.
sharing vulnerability part kind of came as an add-on to that because when you feel safe, you can tell people when something isn't working or when you don't feel good, or it allows you to bring things from, outside of work into that workplace. And then the third part is establishing that purpose. And, it was, I think, one of the things I very often say is it's really hard to not be excited about helping people take vacations. I very much had that in mind as my purpose. Yes, I was working on cool technology projects. Yes, I was working with really smart people. Yes, I was, working for a rapidly growing company. But at the end of the day, like I woke up and every day I was like, man, it's really cool to be able to help people do things, take vacations. So I had those three things. And so again, when I read that in the book, the light bulb went on. It's like, that's why HomeAway was a special place for me.